I moved to Massachusetts with my TAMUK rabbits, but I do have some good news. I did bring my Oh my gosh, so I haven't had an update on any of my rabbit stuff in a hot minute, so maybe I'll just give an update. It's No Makeup Monday, so don't judge me for starters. And second, I moved to Massachusetts with my TAMUK rabbits, so this might be a whole continuum that we're gonna have to follow because TAMUKs are heat tolerant rabbits, and now we are in a cold climate in tractors. And it's probably going to freeze tonight. So the process here is that we're going to actually be keeping these rabbits in tractors for the time being until we get new hutches built, because we left the hutches all in Texas. But I do have some good news. I did bring my bunny brooders. So the bunny brooders are definitely going to be here. At least 4 of them. The split one that we have the mamas in right now, and then there's 3 of these just regular looking ones. This is something that I came up with because it was a spin-off situation that I had chickens, and I was like, well, if chickens have brooders and they're babies, why not have brooders when you have lots of bunnies? When you breed rabbits for meat, you end up needing extra space. Well, some people keep them in their small little areas that are like about half the size of these, but for me, since we eventually put them out onto tractor, I like to keep them in their brooders for maybe a month or 2 before they go out to tractor, because I only had so many tractors. The situation's a little bit different now, but I'm still got my brooders in case I need to put my new baby bunnies in them when they end up growing out. I have 2 litters currently that may end up needing a new space, but for the time being, they are still in another brooder like this with their moms. So I think right now I'm kind of going to be using these for like as nesting spaces, so that they don't have to be in the whole like that type situation, because I've learned from experience and from people telling me online, and then from experience again, that maybe little colonies of mamas having babies in a small space container tractor type situation may not always be the best thing. So the truck ride up here was probably really difficult on them. We went a U-Haul, traveled about 1,800 miles, and then they were in these brooders for traveling cages all together. If you can imagine, maybe I'll stick a video in here of what that looked like, which was insane. And they were double stacked next to like all my crap, and then like the chickens and the ducks somehow came along as well. So they're a little bit stressed out. We lost 1 chicken and 4 kits, but the kits didn't die until after we arrived. I think it was because it was really cold last night and Mama ate all of the hay that was in her box. It was just a little bit stressful for them. And I wasn't planning on moving with newborn babies, but we had a little surprise litter. So it is what it is. So now I've got a whole bunch of TAMUK rabbits, and what am I going to do with them in this cold weather? It's beautiful outside right now. Like, I mean, look at that. As far as like keeping these guys warm in this cold weather. So TAMUK rabbits, for those of you who don't know, have shorter fur, and their heat tolerance is because their ears flap off their heat. They're thinner skinned meat rabbits. They're made to like still be breeding in like 100 degrees. So, and that's what they do. They don't go sterile at 85 degrees like most of your rabbits do. Mine breed all throughout the summer. I love that. But up here it gets like -10 and 3 feet of snow. So tractors and 3 feet of snow with -10 degrees Fahrenheit, and you have heat tolerant meat rabbits is kind of probably not the best situation. So we may end up actually like crossbreeding these to maybe like silver fox or something. I haven't decided yet. Or I may even phase out of TAMUKs. There's not a lot of TAMUKs up here in the north. It's funny because a couple 100 miles south of here, they might actually have more decent weather. There's like this, almost a line where we're just above the super, super cold line. And then, you know, a couple hundred miles south, they can get hot like Texas. It's freaking strange. I don't know. This is a different reality I'm living in now. Never thought I would live in the north. Here I am. This is my boys. They're all just chilling, humping each other's fur out. So we're gonna have to at some point build us some little cages for my breeders. And I think I'm only gonna keep 3 out of the set, and then I might end up getting a silver fox breeder for my girls. We'll see what the crossings will do. I haven't been wanting to cross my TAMUKS because I wanted to keep them pure TAMUK, but the situation being what it is, we're gonna test out some situations on who can eat what forages. If we breed them with this rabbit, what kind of rabbits are we gonna get? And what I want is to keep the traits going for the TAMUKS that keep them good house animals, like good pets and stuff. Like, they're great mothers. They are very calm. They are large for meat rabbits. They don't have a lot of like terrible genetic defects, like growing long teeth or I don't know, just weird stuff going on. I have like pretty awesome lines of rabbits. The only thing that I have seen in my herd was something called, well, I call it dome head, and it happens usually when you pair 2 carriers, and it's only on the doe's first litter, and it's usually 1 or 2. So I mean, it's not that big of a deal that I know of from the research that I've done, but it's still not something that you really want to breed in. So I think I narrowed down who it was that was carrying it, and I culled at least the buck side of that line, and that's really kind of the only problem that I've had. Other than that, I've had awesome TAMUKS. What I do want to start breeding in, if I do end up going forward with this cross program, is a thicker coat, so kind of like not TAMUK. And the reason I wanted to keep my TAMUKS is because I just love my rabbits and I like their rainbow colors, so I might be able to cross my rabbits and keep like that rainbow situation going on, and not have to like only have silver foxes, or I only have champagne jargon, or you know, something like that. Like, I want the rainbow. I mean, look at these guys. There's so many different colors. You got the red-eyed white, the blue-eyed white, the salamander. You have a black over here with ticking, a tort, another tort. There's a fawn or a chocolate tort, whatever you want to call it. There's a chocolate chinchilla over there. I also have a lilac salamander. I have Harleys and Maggies, chinchilla regular over there, goody, like just every color you can think of, and they're so beautiful. And since I harvest for meat and fur, not only am I getting dinner out of it, but I'm also getting art. So I actually did bring like 2 boxes of dehydrated hides, and I think I might actually need to do a video on that, because that was something that I was asked when I did a podcast the other day, is how I do my hides, and I haven't processed them completely yet, but I think once I get a little bit more free time and settled in a little bit more, I might actually like tinker around with that, because there's a ton of trees around here, and I might be able to find some natural tannins from the bark of some of these trees. That's on the list as well. Anyways, I actually wanted to go over these brooders real quick. What I did was I basically took that brooder idea from a chicken and I put it up on legs. These are kind of dirty because I just pulled these out of the trailer yesterday, and I just put the rabbits in their tractors today. The bottom is like 1/2 by 1, and it's pretty thick. It's not the best quality, but it's the best I could find at the time that I made them. And then the outside is hardware cloth. This is just basically a stick box that has reinforcement on the inside, and then everything is usually screwed together, like with a regular Phillips head right here. And then sometimes I'll even staple them just to reinforce them a little more, because the staples, they are a lot easier to use. They do come apart easier. Like this one looks like it was stapled right there. It was stapled and screwed. And then I made on this one is a hay rack out of basically like a fence wire, like the ones that have, the holes get bigger as they go. And I basically just cut that to a certain size, and then I bent it like a box, and then I pretty much just wrapped it around the edges right here. It makes a really good hay rack. And they don't really, I mean, it's wrinkled because it's like a thin wire, but for the most part it stays in one piece, and they use it really well. That keeps your hay from falling through. They're still gonna make a mess as they pull it out, but it's mostly gonna stay up in there, instead of like just you putting hay on the bottom of the cage and then they waste like 90% of it if they're butt heads. I think I pulled out a good example for the next thing I wanted to show you guys. So let me just pull these up. Now, so you see the difference on the legs? So when I first made these, I made them about this height. So this is probably about 3 inches. I think I had measured 4. Somehow it ended up being 3, but it may have been 4 from the base of the cage. So that's probably what happened. Or maybe it was 6 from the base. I don't know. So I put them about this close to the ground. The problem with this is that whenever you go to like scoop up the poop, because there at some point is going to be a shit mountain underneath it, I use like one of those like hoe rakes, not like one of the ones that like the legs move on the rake, but like I can't remember what it's called right now. I just cannot. It's basically like this, and you just, yeah. It's hard to get under there with those things because, or any rake for that matter, a stick if you want to just push the poop out, because that's sometimes what I had to do if I didn't move the cages. It's hard to like clean out from under them. So I ended up lifting these up a little bit more. And so this one has, it's probably 8 inches from here to here. Maybe, I'm not sure. The other one's probably about, 2 inches shorter. So I wanted to give myself a little extra space to be able to get under there with a rake and rake the poop out without having to move the brooders, because once these rabbits are in here, they get kind of heavy. So that was a thing. The other thing that I thought about doing was maybe putting it up on blocks, but the next time I build one of these, I'm probably going to put another like 2 to 4 inches on it, and I'll just keep experimenting because that's what I like to do. I'll just experiment a little bit more and see like what a proper height is, because even though I was able to still kind of clean that out, I wasn't able to get under it quite like I wanted to. So yeah, on the ends of these, I thought about putting, so I've tried out drop dust cages in my Hutches, and I really like them, but they were way too big. I had a few extras of them, and what I thought about doing was actually putting them on the edge, like cutting out a square or rectangle, whatever, and putting it on, like connecting it kind of like I did the hay rack over there to the end of it, so that the mothers can actually have like a little space that's set aside in here, and then they can have all this other room to run around. Just a thought. Another cool thing that you can do with these is to put doors on the bottom or doors on the sides right there, and then what you will do is this. You get a dual purpose out of it. It turns into a tractor. So when you have those emergency homestead situations and you have no more cages, but you need another tractor, there's the other tractor. So that's funny because it's so dirty right now. It's one of the reasons why I put short legs on this in the first place, because I wanted there to be the opportunity for the grass to come through the bottom. And when I tested that out, it didn't exactly work. Like, as you can see, they get a little bit of grass, and that's cool, but not near enough. I mean, even on this shorter one that's only a couple inches off the ground, you can see that it just like kind of like smashes through. If you leave the tractor there for a few days, yeah, the grass will kind of move around and it'll grow through it and stuff like that. But like, my rabbits are gonna be chomping on that stuff. Like, it's just not good enough. So keeping these super low to the ground, like, it's a cool idea, but it wasn't like, the best. You can move these like tractors and then keep them off the ground, and then they can just kind of pull whatever through there that they can possibly reach. But I think it's a lot of effort on their part, so unless I like cut lines in the middle, like here and there, and made it to where they could access it a little more, like little like trap doorways where the grass will come through, or they can like reach their paw in there and get it, it wouldn't really work. But that would actually like affect the integrity of the base of the cage, and I don't think I want to do that. So anyways, that's what I got. Got my TAMUKS, got my bucks, my babies, and we're gonna see how these heat tolerant meat rabbits do up here in Massachusetts. So you guys have a good day, and I'll see y'all later.